So I just want to welcome you here. This is actually going to play on February 1st, the 61st anniversary of the sit-ins that were started in Greensboro 4. And we do have a special guest here today. Sir, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, sir. My name is David Lionel Richmond Jr. I'm the son of one of the Greensboro A&T 4, and it's a pleasure to be here to talk to you.
So we greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us here. And as we get started, you can see in the background here, I've got two different photos, one from 1960 and then one from much more recently here. One of the things that we're learning about is monuments and memorials and the things that society will put up in recognition because we don't want to forget. And what that says about said society and the culture of the people of that time. So, do you want to maybe talk to us about the four people who are in that photo above?
Yes, I can say a little bit about everyone. One was my dad, that's on your immediate left. Uh, the tall gentleman right there, Franklin McCain, is my godfather. They are the only two that have passed away. The other two gentlemen are still alive, Joe McNeil and Jabril Gazan, known as Ezel Blair. And these gentlemen have always been a part of my life since I've grown up as a kid. They mean so much to me. They always been like a father figure for me. They have been around my life since I've been around as an infant, and they played an integral part of how I feel about the statue and just being around the A&T culture.
Yeah. So, and just thinking about, that's a big thing now is having male role models and father figures is so important in especially the lives of young men,
Yes.
especially today. So you mentioned the statue that is over on the other side. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I remember when it was erected. Phil Barnhill, who was I think he's still over at A&T, a professor over at A&T, sculpted that monument. It was a very special day. It was a cold February 1st when they unveiled it, kind of overcast day. And when they pulled it over, I was standing under my father's side of the statue, and it seemed like the clouds parted and the sun. I could see the sun come out, and to me, I felt like my dad was smiling down on that day. The picture to your left, uh, that is really the only picture that that was seen by them. They didn't have a picture taken of them at the counter. That is when they are actually walking out of the building. A Greensboro News and Record photographer took that picture, and every year on February 1st, we celebrate these four gentlemen, and it's a very good time. I've been a part. My dad was one of the first guys to have passed away, and have stood in behalf of him for all these years. Then my godfather passed, and his son is now carrying the torch. Uh, like we will be celebrating the 61st year Monday, and I'm always excited, and I always remember it. Well, anytime I pass by this monument, it means a lot to me. I can
Absolutely.
also say that the anti football team uh, during their home games. Before the game, they would come up to the statue and touch the statue, just like some teams, like Clemson, or they have a monument to touch as they go play. But the A&T football team comes up to that statue and touch it. Uh, I can also mention that Mr. McCain's grandson has just graduated from A&T, and he played on the football team at A&T. I I'm just so excited for this young man. He's already graduated and with a master's. He will be entering the NFL. Hopefully, he will get drafted. And I have been up there when he before one of the games to see him touch that statue with the football team, and it just brings back um, memories. I played at Wake Forest football, and to see him and the team come up there to honor these four gentlemen and the legacy of A&T means a whole lot.
And for those who don't know, A&T is an HBCU, which is a historically black college or university. Um, and the football team, we watched the documentary February 1, and the football team, they played a major role in that sit-in time as well. Yes, these four started it, but
Yes.
mentioning these four, they didn't set out to be heroes, did they?
No, they didn't. These were four, I might say, they were young men, 18. And as my godfather would say, it doesn't take an adult to start something. They were passionate about this movement. They grew up. They were freshmen at A&T. They met. My godfather, Mr. McCain, has been a part of my family. My grandparents helped raise him. Uh, and when the four got together at A&T, they 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 were tired of the things that were going around in at the time in the 60s. Now, if my grandparents knew what my dad was going to do, they would not approve, or they would probably dissuade him. But uh, he grew up. Um, he graduated from Dudley High School and had great teachers and role models, and was taught nonviolence through Gandhi, and had great history teachers, English teachers. Mr. McCain went to Dudley briefly, uh, and Jabril Ezel Blair, he's a Dudley alumni too, and uh, they were not doing this for recognition. Later in life, my dad said that was one of the proudest moments of his life, and I was teasing him. I said, other than having me, I agree.
And I've had the pleasure of meeting you personally, and I am certain that having you was the proudest moment of his life. Absolutely. You've always just been super generous with your time and your words, so I appreciate that.
You're
Um,
welcome.
is there anything that you would like to say as to what this says about our society? So now we look at monuments and museums, and Charlotte Hawkins Brown, General Green.
Hmm.
There's wartime heroes that have monuments built to them, and I think for fourth graders that's hard to comprehend because it was so long ago. But when
Hmm.
you look at this monument here, like you said, two of them are still here in Greensboro walking the streets, and we could run into them. What does
Yes,
it
we
say
might can.
about society that we are recognizing these four men for the heroic thing that they did, even though they were just stepping up to say, hey, we've had enough?
Well, what I can say about this monument is that it has not always been there. The university, North Carolina A&T State University has always celebrated these four men, and always on February 1st that they have been recognized. And so over the years, it has, I can remember as a kid, even being in the fourth grade, going to some of these, going to the event. And I didn't, as a kid growing up, didn't take the full magnitude of what my dad did till I was actually a freshman at Wake Forest, and I had one of my teammates ask me to come to his class to talk about my dad and the movement because it was not really recognized or talked about in history books. So I was kind of reluctant. I felt like a substitute teacher because I never really asked my dad the tough questions. And I went to the class and told what I knew and did the best I could do. And I felt I gave an inadequate job, and I called him up, and this was before cell phones. I actually had to dial him up, and I said, "Dad, can you come up here and talk to the class?" Which he did, and I sat in on the class, and I was actually like a student myself. And that's when my kind of aha moment, the light bulb went out that I'm like to myself, he was 18, I'm 18 at the time, and all I'm doing is just playing college football and trying to get a degree starting off as my first year there. And he is at 18 trying to change the world with three of his friends. And from then on, it's not that I didn't appreciate him all these years, but sometimes we just don't appreciate our parents and see that they are people too. Uh, he, I just looked at him in a different manner because of I was his age at the time, and I saw the significance of the event. He Get back to your question was that monument has not always been there, and I can't remember the exact year. Might have been in the 90s uh, that they commissioned Mr. Barnhill, who I've met, very nice gentleman,
Mhm.
to erect that monument. And uh, A&T is so proud of these gentlemen, and A&T has not only had these four gentlemen, but several people on that campus that have gone on to do greater things in society to make this world better.
So I know we talked about how the sit-in started in Greensboro at the Woolworths counter, and just within a few days, it had spread across the South, and
Yeah,
became a real movement. This was 60 years ago, 61 years ago, as of Monday, the first of 2021.
yeah.
Do you think that we have arrived yet?
Not yet. We making strides as we've been trying to do over the years, but sometimes we regress, and sometimes the story is not told correctly. Anybody's story, and in history, it has the correct story needs to be told, and to learn about other cultures, other people's feelings, ideas. And if we don't do this, we will never come together. And it's important that everybody is included in history, and it's not just one little section that you run through, that you understand fully the magnitude of the event.
And without experiencing it, we'll never know exactly how they felt or anything like that. But through doing research, through talking to people who are related, to having conversations with you, we get just
Hmm.
a little bit more of the facts and the details to build that fuller picture, I think. And
Yes,
that is so important.
yes, it was a scary moment for these men. Being going down there, my godfather, as they said at that counter, the policeman came with the billy stick, he said, and he had it in his hand and was kept tapping it in his other hand, and he was they were scared. It was, they didn't know if they would how they were gonna come out of there, but they just felt that they had to do this. They were tired of seeing the status quo going on. That the At the time, as my godfather said, one of the waitresses came and told him, said, I'm disappointed in y'all." And he was like, why is she disappointed in us? And and he asked her that. He was like, she said, he said, "What took y'all so long?"
Mm,
She was looking for this to happen, and a lot of people, even though they might not say it, they had help. It wasn't just, they initiated it and they took the step, but as the community came around, the A&T football players, the after it went on and they boycotted Woolworths, as Woolworths was losing money during the summer. The Dudley students came and sat down. My mother, she was a Bennett student. She participated. She got arrested. Uh, she actually took my uncle, who was little at the time, and she snuck down there because my grandmother, if my her mother had known, she wouldn't have be able to go. And she told my uncle, who uh, ended up, he's a superior court judge, was a superior court judge, and is the pastor of our church, William Stephen Allen, that he said, just don't tell mama. And that's one thing that he didn't do over the years, and he credits my sister for giving him the being civil disobedient at the time.
wow. Wow. And there's just so much to learn from these four and from you. Is if you could think of one message that you wanted to convey to students who are 8, 9, 10 years old, especially our young Black males who are growing up and they may not know what it's like to be denied service at a counter, but like you said, we still haven't arrived at full equality yet. There's still a long way to go, and we've heard so much, thankfully, being brought to light, intrinsic racism, so that we can maybe do something about it. So, a message for the students. Just if you could sum it up into one direct, this is what you do to make the world a better place for all. Could you offer some
Okay.
advice for that?
Yes, I can. I can remember being in the fourth grade, and it seems like it was yesterday, even though I am 60 now. But to what you must remember about this movement, these gentlemen were not much older than you, and time will fly by so fast that you can't even fathom it right now. What this movement and these gentlemen, they were not adults. They were young adults. They were not quite even 18 at the time. And you will be that age real soon, sooner than later. And it doesn't take a adult to tell you if you know that things are not right, you have to speak up, speak out. And as my godfather, Mr. McCain, would say, when you see things that are wrong, speak up, and you can change the real. It doesn't have to be on a real stage, or you don't. They didn't intend this to be. Uh, they didn't do it for recognition. They did it because they didn't like what was going on. And stay positive, learn, hear, listen to people, listen to stories, tell your story,
Mm.
and your story will be told. And believe in yourself, and believe in whoever you believe in, God or whoever you worship with, to believe that things will get better. And I wish y'all well.
Mr. Richmond, thank you so very much for your time and for your message. And the next time you're down this way, stop by Reedy Fork and say hello to us, okay?
I sure will.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you, Mr. Crouse.